Hello, everyone. Oh, see, everybody's paying attention. We didn't know if you were here for us or not, if it was just a comfortable place to sit.
Last year, we were here, and I swear, there were like 2 of our staff here and people who wanted to eat. That was it. So at this time, we're like, okay, we're not even going to prepare. We're just going to come up and talk. Because if no one's here anyway.
If we would have filled this up, we would have been giving away a car. So thanks for coming, but it's everybody else's fault. Anyway, well, I'm Todd Froemming, and this is Janelle Riley. We're from Savannah's Technologies, and we want to just talk to you a little bit about some of the questions people usually have about GP migrations to Business Central.
Yes.
And we thought the easiest way to do this was I'll just ask Janelle some questions that she answers with clients every single day. So I'm not going to try and trick her, except for maybe at the end. Throw in one that
By
she
the way,
doesn't know the
Todd's,
answer.
full disclosure, Todd's my brother, so he gives me crap along the way, and it just would not be a normal thing. That's just,
Yeah. So anyway, all right. So first thing, will I save money if I switch to Business Central?
Yes, you will. Okay, I'm a CPA, and I run these net present value analysis on the switch from GP to BC all the time for clients. And if any of you guys are interested in it, at the end, I believe, Hannah, do we have our contact info at the end? Okay, we can come to our booth. By the way, our booth has free-flowing Prosecco. We're the Italian vineyard back there. So it's Prosecco, red wine, and white Italian wines. And it runs the entire time. So you guys are welcome to come by. It makes the booth more fun for the people who visit and more fun for the people that are covering the booth, actually, as well.
I don't drink wine. I liked it last year when we had beer.
Yeah. But, okay, to give you some information about this, there are a number of promos that Microsoft has right now for Business Central, for moving to Business Central from GP. All of them which help to defray the costs of making the change. First one is Bridge to the Cloud. And I don't know if any of you guys here know what Bridge to the Cloud is. Are y'all familiar with that? Okay, Bridge to the Cloud is a promo by Microsoft. It applies to NAV. I think it actually applies to SL, if you're still on SL, GP, any of the legacy systems. What it does is gives you a discount on your Business Central licenses. Actually, the best way to explain it for 90+% of our clients is that you get Business Central licenses for free for 3 years if you continue to pay for your GP or NAV licenses, okay? So you get it for free, and that's cloud-based. What that means is you don't have any server infrastructure, you have nothing else to pay for. You've got that. There's another promo that goes through next June 30th that they'll give you an additional 10% discount off your BC licenses, solely if you have Office 365, which almost everybody does have Microsoft 365 right now. So you can save 10% more on top of that. Plus, on top of that, there's another promo that you can get up to $18,000 to pay for the migration to make the move. So there's a lot out there for you. And when you put that together with the cost savings you have from everything that you're saving by switching to Business Central licensing, it ends up paying for itself. Yeah.
So I know they got these migration tools for GP. Should I migrate, or can I just re-implement, or why should I?
It depends.
Just migrate.
It depends. If you really like your chart of accounts, then you would go ahead and potentially migrate. If you really like your chart of accounts and you love the way your system is set up in GP. But if you don't, a lot of times we do a re-implementation just because you want to take advantage of the differences in the systems. Now, the main thing you want to remember, though, is that if you're going to do this, then you're going to want to whether you do a migration or a re-implementation, you want to go through the whole process. You don't want to just take GP, plop it into Business Central the way that you use GP. Because there are a lot of features in Business Central that are well beyond what you can do in GP, right? So since they're beyond GP, you want to take advantage of those. And keep in mind, I say this, Todd and I have been doing GP for 25 years, okay? We've been doing Business Central for the past 6 years. So I just have to say, can you raise your hands? Who's on GP right now yet still? Many of you. I don't look back anymore, 25 years later. I do not. In fact, occasionally I have to look at GP for a client, and I'm very sad because I do like Business Central. I really do. It's so much easier to use than GP. It just is a different thing, and you just got to get used to it. So if I migrate or I implement, does it cost the same, or is it cheaper to migrate? It's a little bit cheaper to migrate. So just to give you pricing, so you have an idea of what it costs to do it, If you do a re-implementation of just pure financials, GL, AP on Business Central, that's like $29,000 fixed fee, right? If you do a migration, it's like, let me look it up here so I've got it right, it's 24. If you have supply chain, you're using distribution, that type of thing, and you just want to do a base implementation for a single company, it is around $59,000. But if you want to do a migration, it's about $49,000, right? So because we do fixed fee jobs for those kinds of things, okay? But keep in mind, you can get up to $18,000 to defray the cost of that from Microsoft. Plus, the BC licenses are free. Plus, they give you an extra 10% just because you have Office. So there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do to pay that off, right? Also, as soon as you get rid of that server, now you're saving money. That's where the bucks are being spent, is on your servers.
I'm waiting for her to fall off the stage. She's like our family's version of Gerald Ford.
What?
All right. I lost my last question.
Yeah.
What about my history? Can I bring everything over if I don't migrate or if I do migrate?
If you do migrate, there's a migration tool that Microsoft has to move from GP to Business Central. But I have to caveat that because it doesn't really do a lot. Okay, that's just the real honest truth. You can get your GL history on a summary level all the way back. You can get all your customers, vendors, items, all of that stuff comes over, but we do that on an implementation anyway. The best way to think of it is if you're an AP person and you do a migration with the migration tool for Microsoft, and at the end, after you migrate, then your AP person wants to go look up some sort of vendor invoice that they entered and the cash payment against it. It's there, but it's kind of just like a dumbed down smart list. It doesn't have very much information, and you can't see what account distributions got hit. So understand that, but it does work. It works well. We use it all the time for our clients. But otherwise, you would do a re-implementation.
How long does it take? Am I going to be down for like a couple days or?
You're never down. At least when we do it, and you shouldn't be if one of your partners is going to have you do it. You should be able to implement or migrate over a weekend. Your partner should do that for you. They should not make you be down during the week, period. Okay? So you should be able to do either one of them over a weekend, the final cut over. Yeah.
So how long does it take to prep and test and all that other stuff you
for
have
a
to do?
small migration, maybe a couple months. For a big one, it can be 6 months. Yeah. For
small migrations, just to put it in perspective, you migrate twice. You migrate into a sandbox, and then you test everything, make sure it's working, learn it, get trained on it, and then you do a final migration on a cutover weekend. So when you come in that next Monday morning, you just log into the new system, right?
Yeah.
And you have all your current data if you're doing the migration.
Yeah.
It works that way.
What I'm wondering, Todd, is anybody here have questions? Because we're happy to answer any of your questions because we've been doing this for a while now. Does anybody have anything that they wish they knew about migrating from GP to BC? Yeah. You're using NAV. Yeah, gotcha. Yep. Yeah, so wait, you're using NAV? Oh, she's asking what is BC? Is the old NAV? Yeah. Great question.
I was just curious if it was the old NAV product that they kind of rebranded as BC.
Great question. It is the old NAV product, but they've added so much to it, it's not even recognizable in a lot of ways. But it was built. Business Central was originally NAV, and then what they did is they reimagined it for the cloud and rebuilt it for the cloud. People who are NAV, we do NAV migrations to Business Central as well. It is different from NAV. I mean, you'll see the core base screens in it, but the functionality that they've added is really substantial versus what it was on NAV. Really substantial. But yeah, great question. Does anybody else have questions?
Yeah, does anybody else have a question? We're available here. I can stick around a little bit afterwards because we're the last session.
Yeah,
the one big thing I want to know is what about my smart list?
What about smart lists? Smart lists are the most awesome invention ever. They are great. They're fabulous, right? You don't have them with Business Central. But I have to be honest with you, after being on BC as long as I have now, I never have a time where I need some data that I miss my smart list anymore. I don't. I did for the first month or two. Now, to keep in mind, to be fair, Microsoft has added a lot of features since when we first started working with Business Central, so there's a lot more than there was in 2018. But really, with the Analyze functionality and the Copilot they've built into it, with all of the list functionality, and then actually being able to extract data directly from tables. Hey, welcome to 2024.
I think we're done. Should I try and be louder?
What? Oh. Let's get ready to party. We do have the the Prosecco, and we have the white and red wines at our booth, and Hannah's in the back here, and she has little cards to show at booth number. But honestly, if you guys have questions, we will provide any answers we can. We've both been at this for a very long time. So, thanks, guys.